You were already comparing yourself to others before you opened that app. The phone just gave the feeling a face. It turns out the comparison was already running. It had been running all morning. It was running while you slept, while you stood in line, while you decided which photo of yourself to keep and which 40 to delete. The phone didn't start anything. It walked into a machine that was already turning. Here is the part nobody tells you. The comparison happens faster than conscious thought, faster than a blink, faster than the moment you'd need to decide to compare yourself to anyone at all. Show a person a single image of someone successful for a fraction of a second, too fast to consciously register, and their self-evaluation changes. They rate themselves lower. They didn't see the image, not really, but something in them saw it, measured it, and quietly adjusted the verdict on who they are. So before we blame the screen, we have to ask a more uncomfortable question. What is the machine the screen plugged into? A man is waiting for a job interview. He has prepared. He feels, not confident exactly, but ready. He has been telling himself a story about today, and in that story, he is enough. Then the door opens. A man in a tailored suit walks in. Watch, posture, the particular calm of someone who has done this 100 times. He sits down. He says nothing. And without a single word exchanged, something collapses. The chest tightens. The shoulders fold in. The story he told himself this morning, "I am ready, I am enough," quietly revises itself in real time. He is the same man he was 90 seconds ago. Nothing about his skill, his history, his worth has changed. But the number changed. No phone, no app, no feed. Just a door, a suit, and a nervous system doing what it has always done. This is spontaneous social comparison. The mind does not wait to be asked. It does not require permission or a screen or even your awareness. The moment another person enters your space, your brain runs a silent calculation. Where do I rank against this one? And it adjusts how you feel about yourself based on the answer. And here is the thing that should unsettle you. We tend to think of self-esteem as a possession, something you have, a steady amount like height or eye color, a stable state you carry from room to room. It isn't. Self-esteem is not a state. It is a reading, a live measurement that rises and falls second by second, depending entirely on who just walked through the door. You are not as confident as you were this morning, and you will not be as confident in an hour. You are a needle on a dial, and the dial belongs to the room. But this is only the beginning of what's actually happening. The Olympics, the medal ceremony. Look at the silver medalist. She is the second best person on the entire planet at the thing she has given her whole life to. Billions of people cannot do what she just did, and she is in agony. The smile is built, not felt, assembled muscle by muscle. The jaw is locked. She is staring at something invisible. Now look one step down. The bronze medalist, third place, beaten by the woman beside her, and she is weeping with joy, kissing the medal, lit up like the happiest person alive. Same podium, same ceremony, same 3 seconds of history. Two women standing barely a meter apart, living in opposite emotional universes. The silver medalist is not comparing herself to the world. She is comparing herself to the gold she almost had. One step higher. If I just... The bronze medalist is not celebrating third place. She is celebrating that she almost finished fourth, almost went home with nothing. This is counterfactual thinking. Your brain is, in a strange way, blind to absolute success. It does not feel where you are. It feels the gap, the distance between what happened and what almost happened. Silver feels like a loss because it lives next to gold. Bronze feels like a win because it lives next to nothing. And now connected back. That reflex, the one in the waiting room, the one running before you wake, the one that fires before you could ever decide to, it was never a flaw. For most of human history, it kept you alive. Knowing your rank in the group decided whether you ate, whether you mated, whether you were protected or cast out. The brain that obsessively measured itself against the people nearby is the brain that survived. You inherited it. The smartphone did not create this hunger. The smartphone simply took an ancient biological habit, built for the 12 people in your village, and handed it an infinite, global, endlessly scrolling library of people to lose to. Every one of them showing you their gold medal moment. Every one of them a door opening in the waiting room, forever, all night, in your hand. A reflex built for 12 people, now feeding on 8 billion. Except, this is also not the full picture. Here is the truth we have been circling, the one that is harder to look at than any podium. Olivia thinks she is comparing herself to other people. She isn't. The stranger she envies, the effortless one, the put-together one, the one whose life looks solved. She has never met that person. She knows nothing about their 3 a.m. She knows nothing real at all. So her mind fills the empty space with an invention, an idealized version of herself, the self she believes she should have been by now. She projects it onto the stranger, and then she aches at the distance. She is not measuring herself against them. She is measuring her hidden, fragile, unfinished self against a flawless self that does not exist, wearing a stranger's clothes. And why does the mind reach for a stranger instead of looking inward? Because looking inward is the worst part. To look directly at your own unlived potential, the projects unstarted, the version of your life that you keep postponing, that hurts in a way that scrolling never does. So the brain performs a quiet trick. It turns the gaze outward. Observing other people is safe. It feels like curiosity. It feels like connection, even. But it is the most comfortable possible way to avoid the empty room you're actually sitting in. This is why Olivia notices everything about everyone and almost nothing about herself. The observation isn't a gift. It's a hiding place. It gets pettier. When a domain is tied to your identity, your brain would rather sabotage a close friend's success than a stranger's. The friend threatens the story. The stranger is just weather. The mind is loyal to exactly one thing, and it is not your friendships. Which means the observation, the comparison, the scrolling, none of it was ever really about them. So let's stop talking about Olivia. Does this mean you are just using the people around you as mirrors to avoid looking at the empty spaces in your own life? Because grading their lives is easier than admitting you are the source of your own dissatisfaction? Sit with that for a moment, because there is something almost unbearable about the idea that all the energy you spend tracking other people, who's ahead, who's winning, who has the life you are supposed to have, was never really about them. That it was always a way to keep your eyes pointed anywhere but at the one room you keep refusing to walk into. The feed didn't trap you, it just gave you somewhere to look. So what does Olivia do? She doesn't delete the app, let's be honest. She's not going to, and neither are you. She doesn't stop noticing other people. She can't. The mechanism fires before she decides anything. It fires before awareness catches up. It will fire tomorrow and the day after. There is no version of this where the comparison stops. She does something much smaller. For one moment, just one, she turns the gaze back. Not to judge what she finds there, not to fix it, not to make a plan or a resolution or a new morning routine. Just to see the thing she's been arranging her whole attention to avoid. The empty desk, the dusty guitar, the room she's been sitting in the entire time. The comparison won't stop. The mirror is bolted to the inside of her skull, and it does not have an off switch. But a mirror can be turned. Once. Toward the one place she never points it. That's it. That's the whole move. Not freedom from the trap, there isn't any, just, for a single moment, knowing which direction she's actually facing. So here's the thing left to sit with. If the ideal self you are chasing is just an illusion you have projected onto complete strangers, what happens when you finally reach that standard, only to realize the person you were actually running from was yourself?